LookingToBuyAHouse.com. We're coming at you with the process of buying. We're on step 4, writing the offer. We've got 5 through 10 coming up. I'm going in depth. I'm gonna talk about what I do when I write an offer. And we're gonna talk about price, we're gonna talk about terms, inspections, occupancy, seller concessions, earnest money deposit. This might be the most thorough video you will find on how to write an offer and understand the offer. So stay tuned, guys. Welcome back to Looking to Buy a House, where we are diving deep into the process. This, my friends, is one of the most important parts of the process. They're all important, but this one for sure. That's why we're gonna dive so deep. If you don't learn anything else from these steps and these processes, this video and this material right here is what I want you to focus on. All of this, every single thing on this board is all relative. And that's the interesting part about writing an offer. How long has the house been on the market? Are the sellers motivated? Why are they selling? Are there any other offers on the property? Are we in a multiple offer situation? Every single thing about the house itself is relative to how you write this offer. So while I go through these points, I want you to remember that people write offers differently. So you're simply getting my perspective on how I write offers. I win multiple offer situations time and time again, but again, all relative to the property itself. So saying that, let's dive in. We're on price. So you just found the house of your dreams, you're ready to write an offer, and you asked yourself, what should we offer? You gotta take a couple things into consideration. Number 1, how long has it been on the market? Number 2, are they motivated? Number 3, are there any other offers? Take time. That's a process. Find those answers out. Once you find that out, when you decide price, it should be based not on what they're asking, it should be based on what the value of the house is. I always run comparable homes. We call it a market analysis, and I find out what the older homes in that neighborhood are selling for. You don't just throw the guy a number because that's what he asked for. He could ask for anything. As long as the value is there, it's okay to give asking price. You have to double check. When we come on to price, you start with what's everything selling in the neighborhood? Is this a good value? Do they have it overpriced? Is it underpriced? Where I wanna be? And that's how you determine your offer price. Once you've got your price established, your terms are gonna reflect that price. This goes back to getting pre-approved. That's a discussion you have with your loan officer. Are we putting 3% down, 5% down? How quick can we close? Is it gonna be 30 days, 45 days? These are all factors of the terms. That's what I'm referring to. Your down payment, how much your loan will be, how long it'll take to close. That's what we're talking about when we talk about terms. We've got the price determined. Our terms are set. The next thing is the inspection. So in segment number 7, I'm gonna go really in depth into the inspection, all the inspections to get, typical costs, things to look out for. The purpose of this one is to help break down what your offer will be regarding the inspection, specifically the timeline. An average timeline is 7 days. So you're gonna have 7 days from the point of them accepting your offer to get your due diligence done. If it's in the busy season and your inspector can't make it out, sometimes you see 7 to 10 days. 10 days can hurt your offer, it can weaken it. Why? Because the seller doesn't always want to wait around 10 days for you to do an inspection to find out you found something and then try to negotiate. He wants that inspection done as quickly as possible, so either he knows you're moving forward with the deal or he knows he has to put it back on the market. So 7 days is a great timeline to get your inspections done, guys. We are now on occupancy. Occupancy is after you close, the seller retains occupancy of the house. The best way to explain it, the seller is renting the house back from you. Typically, if they need anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days, they don't always use it. Sometimes it's a buffer so that they can close on the house that they're buying and move in and don't have to move twice. That's the main reason people use occupancy. If they get occupancy, understand they will cover your mortgage costs, principals, interest, taxes, and insurance. So in the contract, you're gonna write 1/30 PITI, and it stands for 1 of 30, a per diem rate of your principals, interest, taxes, insurance. That money then gets held with the title company in an escrow account so that they already know it's collected. You don't have to go collect that from them. They don't pay you. And if they don't use any of that time, it's reimbursed back to them. All right, we're on seller's concessions. Seller's concessions are where the seller contributes money towards your closing costs at closing. So when you go through a loan, when you go through the process of buying a house, you have mortgage fees, title fees, escrow, taxes, insurance. You have all these costs at the end on top of your down payment. And what happens is it could add up to $5,000, it could add up to $7,000. Well, instead of having to pay that $7,000 or $5,000, you can ask the seller to pay that. Depending on the house, depending on the situation, again, it's all relative. Is the house brand new on the market or has it been sitting for 3 months? If it's been sitting for 3 months, you got a better shot at getting concessions than you do if it's day one. There's a difference between needing them and wanting them. Some people need them. They're like, we need the money, we have enough for the down payment, but we need our closing costs covered. If it's just a want, a creative way to get that is by offering a little bit more actually. So if the seller wants the house to sell for $200,000, you can say, hey, I'll give you $205,000, but I want $5,000 back in closing costs. And when you do that, the seller understands that his bottom line doesn't change. He's still walking away with the same amount of money. On your end, the $5,000 on top of the loan is much less significant than having to pay $5,000 out of pocket. Understand though, when you take this approach, if the appraisal does not come in at your 205 value, if it comes in at 200 or 203, whatever remainder does not clear, it's very typical when you add concessions on top that is the first money taken off the table. So then you would be again responsible for those closing costs and the down payment. Here we go, earnest money deposit, the EMD. This is the money you put down that you're offering in the very beginning when your offer is accepted. It's typically 1 to 2% of the house value. So if it's a $200,000 house, I'm gonna recommend $2,000 to $4,000 as an earnest money deposit. This money, once you have an accepted offer, is deposited with your agent or with your title within 48 hours. It's held by them throughout the process. There are 2 stipulations typically that protect you. With no penalty, you get your earnest money deposit return. If something happens within your inspection period and you walk away, the deal falls apart, and you're within your timeline, you get the earnest money deposit returned to you. If for some reason the appraisal doesn't come in right, we call it coming in light. It comes in lower than it should have. Let's say you have a $200,000 house. The appraisal comes in at $195,000. You don't have any extra money to bring. The seller says, we literally can't make the deal work if we don't have the $5,000. That is cause for your earnest money deposit to be returned as well. So you have the inspection and appraisal protect you. The reason you put the earnest money deposit down, it shows that you're serious and you're not just messing around, saying, I'm willing to put this money at risk if I decide not to go through the house. Also, that earnest money deposit that's held by title, if you make it to closing, everything goes smoothly, it's applied to your closing costs. If for some reason your closing costs are lower than that, you get a part returned to you. Did you know that presenting the offer can be a determining factor whether you get an accepted offer or not? Especially in a multiple offer situation, when you have 5, 6, 7 offers, the fact that your offer is clear, precise, you have it broken down, that your agent calls the seller agent, communicates your offer to them, reassures them you are the best person to buy, we're the ones that are gonna get to close. It's our responsibility to sell the agent that we're the best choice. That's a real thing that I think a lot of agents miss. I have an unbelievable email breakdown for how I present my offers. I have received offers where someone just put it in the attachment, sent it over, and just said, here's an offer, with no breakdown, no explanation, no phone call, no text, and it came through my email. I'm like, what is this? But I have an email template. If you're interested, put it in the comments, present the offer template, and put your email, and I'll send it to you how I format and how I present my offers. Because of the way I present my offers, I've had conventional offers be accepted over cash for the same price. I've had multiple offers where the agent told me, yours was just so clear, so well presented, that it made my sellers feel more confident. They knew exactly what was in the offer, exactly what was at stake, and that's what I'm talking about when I say present the offer. It's a very crucial part, it's overlooked, and it's important you know about this. Did you know when you're in multiple offers, you gotta call the agent. You've gotta find out as much information as you can. How many offers? Try to get an understanding of where they're at. Most agents won't pull it out of them. I'll pull it out of them. If they don't want to even tell you any information, ask them what's most important to the seller. That's the golden key question. You have to ask them, is price most important? Do they want to quick close or an early close? Do they need occupancy? Is it important if our inspection is 7 days over 10 days? Would they be upset if we had seller's concessions? Will that weaken our offer? If I gave you a 1% earnest money deposit, is that good, or do they need to see 2? All of this, I review it all with the agent before I write the offer. I'm literally on the phone with him as I'm writing the offer, verifying that everything I'm writing him is what the seller is looking for. We're talking about multiple offers right now. We're not talking about negotiations back and forth. We're talking about coming in strong with your best foot forward, because you've got 6, 7 other people to beat. And the best way to do that is understand the seller, their circumstance, why they're choosing to sell, and what they need from us. That is how you win multiple offer situations, my friends. Do you know what a lowball offer is? A lowball offer is when you offer somebody less than basically you know that they want to see. That's what we call a lowball. Swinging for the fences, trying to get the best deal that you can. And this typically works on houses that have been sitting on the market for a long time. The seller's even more motivated every day that passes, and you are trying to get a steal. You're trying to get the deal of a lifetime. That's what we talk about with the lowball offer. Now, when you do a lowball offer, there's actually strategy with it. There's something that's called a pain tolerance. Understanding the seller's pain tolerance is crucial when it comes to what are they gonna look at? What are they gonna consider? What will they get offended by? If you offend the seller, you lose the chance to get a good deal. Because he's turned off of you, it could make him say, I don't even want to sell it to this person anymore, no matter what price they give me. They could give me full asking right now. They already insulted me, so I'm done with them. You want to land right in between there. That pain threshold of, hey, we're upset and we'll consider it, typically is about 10% of the home value. So if you're looking at a $180,000 house, my lowball offer would be $18,000 less. Obviously, granted, run the comps, make sure the value's there for the house, but that's a good starting point. That's a good across the board rule that if you're wondering how low is too low, 10% is a great number where you can start negotiations and you don't offend that seller. You should place a lowball offer if there's no other interest in the property. Let's say they're sitting for 60, 90 days, longer than that. When there's no activity and when the seller's motivated is the best time to take advantage of a lowball offer. I'm glad you guys stuck through for this one. It's so important that you know all of this. Stay tuned for number 5, where we're gonna talk about what happens when you get an accepted offer and that timeline starts for the whole process. All right, we just got through writing the offer. Stay tuned. Number 5 is gonna be accepted offer. What happens when that timeline starts? Hit subscribe, guys, so that you're in the loop when the new episodes drop. As always, I appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach us. We are heavily engaged with our comment section. Any topics or questions come up, you know where to find us down in the comments. I'm Ciaramella with Keller Williams. We are lookingtobuyahouse.com.